Today we are going to explain the first poem of these English subjects of grade 12. So the name of the poem is My Mother at 666. That's written by Kamala Das. She is a great Indian poet. You know, she is actually from Kerala, that she lived in Malabar region, and she was born in 1934, and her poem has one speciality. Whenever she speaks any concept, whenever she speaks any ideas that will have an indigenous flavor. Indigenous flavor means something which will have a touch with native flavor. Yes. And since she is a great writer, she has written so many novels, she has written so many short stories and poems also. So let's see one of her poems, that is My Mother at 66. She says in this, she speaks herself about her mother when she had to go her higher studies. Yes. This is very simple poem. This is very simple poem in common language. She has written in common language. One specialty is there for this poem. That is, entire poem is in one single sentence. I haven't written the complete poem. Will be written later. But see, the poem doesn't have any ending, but the ending is the ending of the poem. Yes. So first of all, let's see. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday. So this is, she says, she was driving from her parents' home to Cochin last Friday. Cochin means Cochin Airport. She was going because she is going for her higher studies. She wants to learn more and more. That is why. So when she was driving from her parents' home to Cochin Airport, it happened on last Friday. She specifies a day, that was on last Friday morning it was, and she was accompanied by her mother. Her mother, I saw my mother beside me. So in her vehicle, mother also was there. Mother was accompanying her when she was just going for her higher studies, and she is going now to Cochin Airport. And when she saw her mother beside her, she could notice one thing: mother's state. How was mother's state when she saw her mother in the vehicle? She was dozed. Dozed means half sleep. Mother was half asleep, and when a person is half asleep, what would be the condition? Her mouth was opened. Mouth opened. When a person is asleep, we can understand the mouth will be open sometime. Her face isn't like that. Her face. So now the poet comes to the idea that she describes the state of mother who sits in the vehicle, that is dozed, half sleep, and open mouthed. Yes, her face. How does her face looks like? Ashen. You know, ashen means what? Ash. Ash. You know, when we burn something, the ash. So it's gray color. Gray color. So her face looks as ashen, just like ash, like gray color, like that of a corpse. You can understand the poet says something that her mother's face were seen ashen like, ash like, gray like, means not bright, not shining, not youthful glow is not found on the face of the mother. It is like ash, dry and pale and gray, so not so bright like that of a face found on a corpse. So how will be the face of a corpse? Will that be active? it will be completely inactive, right? It is dried and pale and not shining, not bright. So mother's face is looked like as the face of a dead body, okay? And realized, she soon by seeing mother's this state, this condition, she realized with pain. A pain came to her mind, a terror came to her mind. She was horrified that she was old. Mother was old. Yes, mother is aged old. So I am coming to the concept of the poem. The poet Kamala Das says in this poem the process of aging, the pain of aging, the pain of death, the pain of decay, the pain of end. So she had a childhood fear. So let me come to the point. The poet had a childhood fear, that was death, decay and aging. Because now she is very young. You can, the students of class 12, we can understand, you are so in youthful glow, you are so shining, beautiful, handsome guys, right? Completely. So now the poet thinks, when the poet was very young, she was scared of the death which comes in the, when she becomes aged old, right? So poet was already had a fear of death and decay. So that when the poet saw the mother's this state, the face was seen as the face of a corpse. So that corpse, death, dead body, death, that came to her mind. A person will be aged old and will be slowly dying. So that came to the poet's mind, that was she was old as she looked. But soon, see, till this way, she is old, that she is looked as old now. So the poet's mind just whispered that poet also will be aged in the future, and she also will be perished, she also will be no more in the future. So when the poet's mind was restless, upset by seeing her mother's this condition, she just wanted to put away the thought, because the painful thought, the miserable thought that came to her mind by seeing the poet's mother. So she wanted to keep away that thought, because she is going for higher studies. So soon put that thought away. Which thought? This thought, the aged old. The aged old state of the mother just realized her with pain that her mother is aged and she also will be dying, right? So she thought, she put away that thought. What thought? This thought of death, thought of decay, and thought of ending, and looked out at young trees. She just looked at young trees. Who? The poet just was driving to Cochin airport in a vehicle. So by seeing the mother, she realized with the pain that mother is aged old, and she too will be aged one, she too will have to die one. So that painful thought, when it came to her mind, she put away that thought, and she just looked out to distract from this state. When she looked out, what had she seen? Young trees printing, and the merry children spilling out of their homes. So the poet brings here two visual images. One is young trees printing, and the second one, the merry children spilling out of their homes. So here the visual image, young trees spilling, sprinting is a natural process. When one person travels in a vehicle, when the person travels in a vehicle, whenever he just looks outside, we can see the trees runs faster. So that visual has come to the mind of the poet when he looked outside, when she looked outside. And this indicates two things. One is to distract from this dreadful thought, that the thought of death and decay. So one is that to keep away from that, dreadful thought, she just looked at young trees. Okay, this also shows one more meaning, that young trees is very youthful, just contrasting to the death. Yes, youthful and energetic situation has been brought by young trees, and sprinting the word, surely it needs energy. It cannot be done in the aged old situation. So young trees, or young shows youth, right? Young trees sprinting, that running situation. This complete phrase indicates the youth and energetic situation. So now her mind is relaxed. In her mind this kind of a picture came, she was much relaxed. And the merry children spilling out of their home. This is the second visual image. Visual can be seen in the mind. Visual image came to the poet when she looked outside to distract from this dreadful thought. Merry children spilling. Merry means very happy. Children spilling. You can understand spilling out means something which is overflown, which just comes over. So the happy children, when they spill out, just rush out from their home in an excitement to play outside, how will the mind of the children, very happy situation, and they too will be very energetic, and they will be very they will have a great happy mood. That's what has been brought by the poet, the merry children spilling out of their home. These two images, these two pictures came to the poet's mind when the poet looked outside to distract from this thought. So whole in this poem, what is mentioned? Some more are there, I'll tell it. Whole in this poem, what is mentioned? She was driving from her parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning. She saw beside her mother. When she saw her mother beside her, she could see the state of mother that was really just like a dead person's face, and it is ash-like, gray, not bright, and she is dozing, open mouth. So this situation actually realized the poet a pain that had been found in the poet's mind since the childhood itself, that pain of death and decay, and she just put that thought away by looking at the young trees and merry children spilling out of their home. So now the poet says another part of the poem, second part of the poem, and let me ask you children, I hope everyone will be afraid of death. Death is something which brings an end of an individual, that brings a person end in from this world. So as poet, everyone will be afraid of death, but the poet was actually seized by this fear which was haunting her always, which was coming her mind always. Yes, so the poet says, now the poet has gone to airport, and after the airport's security check. So after the security checkup, standing a few yards away, yards, you know, a measurement, yes. So standing a few yards away, the poet looked again at her mother, but mother was seen as wan. Wan means colorless. Face was not found with that energy, and pale. Pale means faded, right? So the mother's face was seen wan and pale. And the poet brings another image to convince the readers how was the mother's state, wan, colorless and faded, pale, yes, dim, not bright, yes, not shining. How was that? Late, just like as late winter's moon. In winter season, late winter season, moon won't be visible as in the other season. So that will be no brightness will be there. So in late winter season, moon, when it is not so visible, that dim and not so bright, that has been found for the poet's face too. In short, altogether, the poet's mother face also was not so bright. That was pale and faded, like late winter season moon. How will that not be bright? The same situation has been found for the poet's mother too. And soon she felt that old familiar ache. Again, by seeing mother's this kind of pale and faded face, again that fear. What was the fear of the poet? The fear of death and decay and aging. That's actually a fear which I had already told you that sees her always. So that's a familiar ache to her. That's something which is always familiar, pain to the poet, and that's actually my childhood's fear. This fear had seized the poet, grabbed the poet since the childhood of the poet. Yes, this is actually a familiar pain and fear or ache that had seized from her childhood itself. So she says this is a childhood's fear, okay, that came to the mind of the poet again. So, though the condition of the poet is this, she had to say, all I said was, see you soon, Amma. See you soon, Amma. That's what she had to say finally, because she was very determined. She was stubborn that she need to complete her education. She's going for higher education. So she has to say, see you soon, Amma. Right? So this is the word. Already I told you in the very beginning of the poem that Kamala Das Madhavikutty, whenever she writes any poems or novel or short stories, she will have an indigenous flavor. A native touch will be there. Here, Amma, the word indicates that a native touch. Amma, the word is used in Kerala especially to call the mother. So, see you soon, Amma. Yes, all I did was, this is what I said. See you soon, Amma. That's what I said. But all I did, what did I do? I didn't go for hugging. I did just smiled and smiled and smiled only. She just kept smiling, because this is something which had been asked many times for the board examination. This line comes as line in the question paper, and question will be coming, why did the poet keep smiling when she was parting with mother? So this is what she was so determined, and she wanted to pursue her education. She had to keep smiling only and say goodbye, and an expectation. It indicates an expectation that the poet can come back again and see the mother. That expectation, and she was determined. So many things are there. The expectation that she wanted to come back and see the mother again. Yes, that's what she kept smiling. Yes, see you soon. Yes, at the word itself. But she has gone. Though the mother was in such a state, she has gone because she was determined to complete her education. In this lesson, there are found a few questions that also can be discussed, so you will get a complete idea. The first question, what is the kind of pain and ache that the poet feels? That is very clear at pain and ache, aging, death, decay. That was a childhood fear of the poet. You can explain it, but this point must be there. And second one, why are the young trees described as sprinting? Two things are there. One is that sprinting indicates the youth and energy of this youth or childhood or young age situation. This is completely contrast to the aged old age of mother or anyone. Okay, so sprinting, another thing, sprinting is a natural phenomena which can be seen when a person travels in a vehicle. When he just looks outside, we can see trees goes faster. That is a natural phenomena, but it is actually completely contrast the old age which the poet wanted to get. This age, this young youth, the poet wanted to get. That's what brings the poet happiness. That is why this sprinting the word has been described here. And next one, why has the poet brought in the image of the merry children spilling out of their homes? Image of young merry children, happy children, that itself indicate the poet wanted to be happy. She was sad by seeing the mother's face, but she wants to put away that thought. She has put away that thought, and she wanted to become so happier because she is going for higher education, and merry children spilling out of their homes. See, that's the same thing, energy, the youth, and active, and what is that, strong situation of that's what the poet wants. That brings happiness, the poet, completely contrasting to the poet's mother's state. And next one, why has the mother been compared to late winter's moon? The same thing, the poet has just brought the image of late winter's moon, because the moon won't be much visible and bright and shining in the late winter season. So the same situation has been found for the poet's mother too, and she just described this late winter's moon to describe the exact state of mother's face. What do the parting words, very important question, parting words of the poet and her smile signify? The parting words were, see you soon, Amma. So two things I told you, see you soon, she said she wanted to see, it shows the expectation that she saying goodbye, see you soon, and expectation means she want to come back and see mother again, because mother was such a state. When she thinks the state of the mother, she won't be she will not be interested to go, because mother's state is that. But when she thinks of her higher education, she wanted to go, so she had to just say see you soon. Yes, a word which brings her an expectation that she could come back and meet mother again. And Amma, this is actually something indigenous flavor which always found in say Kamalada's poems, and all I did was smile and smile. Smile, why did she smile? Because it also just a happy moment when a person part, right? Happily, there's just smiling must be there. This also indicates that she wanted to come back and see mother again. Okay, that's all the poem about, and this poem is over here. Thank you. Have a nice day.